Zambia and Zimbabwe have agreed to support electricity imports by Zambia from the region through Zimbabwe. The two nations have also agreed for Zimbabwe to progressively increase the limit on power transfer capacity. This was said during the inaugural Zambia-Zimbabwe Bi-National Commission this morning, co-chaired by President Hakainde Hichilema and Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa in Harare, Zimbabwe. In his address to the delegates this morning, President Hichilema has also reaffirmed Zambia's support for the lifting of economic sanctions imposed against Zimbabwe. The president said the sanctions against Zimbabwe have had an adverse effect not only on the Zimbabweans, but neighboring countries like Zambia. President Hichilema says the continued imposing of sanctions on Zimbabwe not only delays development, but progressive trade and business in the region.
We borrowed an expression that if anyone is not aligned, it's not allowed. Quickly come into line. Mr. President, Your Excellency, I want to state very clearly here that Zambia reaffirms its unwavering support for the total lifting of sanctions against Zimbabwe. If these sanctions had their value at a time, the value has expired. We need Zimbabwe to exercise its desire to develop the economy, to support its people. Sanctions are standing in the way. I must say, Mr. President, those sanctions on Zimbabwe affect us because they limit what we can do with each other. So we have a vested interest. So that's our call. And that's why I acknowledge the media. Please carry the message.
On the economy, President Hakainde Hichilema has called for joint investments between Zambian and Zimbabwean business communities to enhance foreign direct investments. President Hichilema says the region has a combined population of 350 million people, which is sufficient to grow the respective economies for the ultimate benefit of the region.
To deepen your cooperation. That's our instruction. That's our instruction. Where you feel there's a gray area, reach out to each other, conduct joint assessment missions. You're welcome to do that in Zambia, and I know we're welcome to do that in Zimbabwe, and I say joint, so that you can fill the gaps on information, gray areas, and you create an environment for the two countries to focus on our growth agenda for the Zim-Zam economy.
President Hichilema has challenged technocrats to explore more areas of cooperation that will enhance relations, trade, agriculture, and tourism, among other areas. And President Mnangagwa has applauded Zambian and Zimbabwean technocrats for the diligent works on various areas of cooperation.
We remain grateful to Zambia's principled stance and the consistent calls against the illegal economic sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe.
Meanwhile, Zambia and Zimbabwe have also agreed to initiate the drafting of bilateral trade and economic cooperation framework agreements anchored on existing regional and continental instruments to guide structured engagements and deepen economic ties. Mwangala Sakaumba, reporting in Harare, Zimbabwe.